Welcome to qnawire.
Okay, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're looking at problem number 7.2, and it's creating what we call the stock class. Okay, and this class is basically a gigantic beast. It involves a bunch of private data fields with that each course have a corresponding get method, and then some of them have some set methods. We have this symbol and name, which of course have their corresponding get methods, and then a previous closing price with its get and set method. It corresponds, of course, to the previous closing price. We have a current price with which corresponds to its current price, and then its get and set methods. And then, of course, the constructor, it constructs a stock with the specified symbols, the specified values, and it has that have the symbol, name, previous price, and current price all represented. And then the get change, and then we have a method that's get change percent, which returns the percentage change from the previous closing price to the current price. Okay, so it's a lot of information. The basic idea is we want to create this stock class, and then we run a test file or a test program, and later on we'll do the UML for this beast. Okay, so let's dig in. Okay, so first we're creating this class. So of course we start by saying class stock. Okay, and first off, we have to create the data fields. So they're all private here. So we want to go, I'm sorry, we have to do the init first. I'm sorry about that. Oh, I always forget this. We have to go create the init, the initializer module, which includes, oops, boy, I can't spell today at all. Self, it has the symbol, name, previous, what is it? Previous closing price, and current price. Okay. And now we have to create, so now we have to create the data fields. So, and they're all private here. So symbol equals to symbol self name equals to name. Yeah, a lot of self dots previous, oops, not previous, previous closing price to be equal to previous closing price, and then self dot current price to current price. Okay, and now we want this guy self dot stock to equal to, oh, what, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. So what the way we're going to do it is I'm going to create the string, which I'm going to use a format method on the string to set it. Um, so what I'm doing then, each of these positions in the string is going to correspond to the variables. So this one will correspond to the self.symbol. So in particular, then this string format. So this is, I'm using the format method on, so the string method format to create my, oops, my string. So you'll see in the end what it does. It's going to it's going to return the string in a nice way. Actually, I really like this method of doing this string creation. Actually, it really does it in a very nice way, a relatively simple way, actually, to be honest with you. And remember, of course, when you're doing this, you have to use the self guys. You can't just use the variable itself. You have to use the self. It should do it this way. Okay, and then so that was one mistake I made. What I mean is, instead of using this self dot current price, I might just try using the current price, and you'll see that Python does not allow that, doesn't like that, so can't do that. Whoops, sorry. You have to use okay. Okay. Okay, so that sets the stock. Now we have to create the corresponding get methods. So now the corresponding get methods. So corresponding, corresponding get methods. Okay. So there we go. Def get. We'll say get symbol of self. And that just, whoops, I did that again, which just return self dot symbol. Again, when we're doing this, because it's private, make sure you type out the right thing, because it's very easy. It should be, self dot symbol. Okay, and then we do the same thing again with def get name self that return. I'm just going to do this way, self dot name. Save me a little time here. Copy. Okay, Control V. You have to go through and create each of these guys, DEF. It's not fun necessarily, but get previous closing price. Again, we should do self. And let's go through return. And copy. And then get got current price. Yeah, have to put the self there. Have to remember that. That's a very easy mistake to make. I made it many times myself. Myself. I forgot the self. Copy. You know, that sounds kind of very deeply philosophical. Myself, I forgot the self. You know, that's deeply philosophical statement there, though it's really just a statement of you know, it's a computer science statement. So we don't need a get statement for a self dot stock for the stock, because the stock is not the stock is not private. It's not a private data field. Um, and so we don't need a get for that, but we have to do the set methods, the corresponding set methods, and here again we have to do det f set. We aren't concerned about the symbol or the name, because those we don't need to set once they've been set in the initial statement. We don't have to worry about setting it later on. See, that's the point of the set modules, are values that are going to change. So from one day to the next, you'll change the price. You know, obviously the closing price will change. So previous set previous closing price. Um, see, the previous closing price will change obviously from one day to the next, but because the the closing price, the previous closing price is private, I cannot just set it without having to change without having to create a whole new instance of the stock. So by defining this set previous stock or previous, I can actually change the previous closing price without having to create a whole new instance of the obvious. So now what I do is self dot actually, I just want to do this, is I want to basically state this. Oops, I forgot something here. Sorry, I forgot something. Control copy. The statement up there is technically wrong. I actually want to include here. So I want to, so the previous, so the variable I want is the previous closing price. So what this will allow you to do is say we're talking about stock so we're talking about stock today that closed yesterday, say at $25, and then closes today, say at $30. So previously, it would be set at the closing price of $25, and that would be the instance of the stock would have the price set at $25. Well, today, if it closes at $30, well, I don't want to create a whole new instance of the same stock. All I want to do is be able to change the price so that it will be updated, if you will, by creating the set previous price. I can now set it without having to change the whole instance of it. So that's the point of why you create the setter function, these setter guys. And to be honest with you, one of the main reason I'm mentioning this is because it was a question that that I was thinking about. It seemed to me kind of a stupid thing to do, to have these things, but it occurs to me why you need it. And like I say, the main reason is because this way I don't have to create a whole new instance of the stock. I can just input the new previous price or the previous closing price in, and that will just update the instance to reflect the current situation, if you will. So this is current price. Anyhow, I felt that was a you may not care, but I felt that that's actually an interesting um, point to make. Anyhow, so that's what the set that's what these setter functions do. Modules, I should say. Sorry, are methods are the words. Methods, modules, all this kind of stuff gets a bit confusing. Okay, so now these are the corresponding set methods. And now we just have this other get method, which includes, so it's def, and it's not really the same as the other get method, so I sort of separated it off, which is get change, I guess he calls it percent, and again, it's just of the self, and it just returns the percentage, so 100 times. Now I want to go through this, so let me see. So it should be, I'm going to go the, okay, the current price, we'll just say control. So it's 100 times self dot. Again, when you do this, make sure you use the self current price minus the previous price. Come on. And all of this divided by self dot. Okay, yeah, so make sure you have the return there. So the whole thing, takes, I mean, it's quite involved, like I said. Oops, not return, it's return. Okay. Okay, so I mean, it's all very involved. It takes quite a bit of time, but the basic idea is you just go through and remember that to define the private ones or the private um, data fields, you use these underscore things, and that once once you define the data field as private, then you depending on whether it needs to be changed or not, you'll need these get and set methods. In fact, I think you should always, if you have a private field, you should always have get methods, but the set ones are really just needed if you're changing anything. So if you're going to change the information or whatever. So okay, right. Okay, let's just save that and run it once. Not that we're going to get anything when we run it, but that's good. And then we're going to look at the stock check. So now what I'm just doing is this the test file. So in particular now, I'm importing the module stock from the file here, stock, and then I'm creating an instance or instantiating stock with this guy my stock, and it's the one given in the book. It's the INTC guy, Intel Corporation, and he has these values. And you'll see now if I run it, what happens. I mean, the pretty obvious stuff happens. And then notice, then I can do something like this. I can do my stock dot previous closing price. So I'll go set previous closing price as, say, so it was 20.35, I believe, was the previous closing price. Or was it? Oh, the current, oh, the previous closing price was 20.5, so we'll change that now to 22, 22.2. And now we can look at, now we can go my stock dot stock. And so you see now that the, whoops, not to it. Okay, so something went wrong here. Okay, yeah, so something's wrong. Anyhow, I'm gonna just, I'm sorry about that, but, okay. I wanted to, okay, well, let's just ignore that. I'm sorry about that. Something went on. I'm not sure why. But let's get to the UML here. So let's get to the UML. Okay, so to this end, let's go through this. And we're creating now the stock. So this is the UML UML diagram. Okay, and it is for stock. And it has a bunch of data fields. So it is, let me see, symbol. Of course, now these are private, so I'm using the dash symbol here. And this is a string. Name, of course, is, again, it's private, so symbol, symbol, or sorry, string. And we had current, current or previous, not previous, previous closing price, should be, of course, this is a float, and current price, again, is a float. And so these are our data fields. Our data, actually, we also have, these are the private, we'll call it the private data fields. We also have the, the one which is stock, which is not a private field, it's just a data field. Sorry. Okay, and then we have, okay, so now our modules are stock, and it is, again, symbol. I hate doing all this because it's really just repeating the same thing, which is a string, and none of these are set. None of these are set beforehand, or have a have what you call a none of these have initialized values, so we don't have to worry about that. And the current price, which is the float. And this guy, he just creates, he creates stock. So he returns a string or string, which is he creates a stock object with the corresponding symbol dot dot dot. So the corresponding values, representing the corresponding values, and then we have the get set methods for the private data, and the other method we have is the get change percent, and this is going to be a float, and it just returns the percentage changed from previous closing price to current price. Okay, so that's the whole kit and caboodle, as they say. It's it's quite a bit of information. It's quite long, but that's the basic idea. You create the stock class with its private data and the methods, the get methods, the set methods, and so on and so forth. And then you go through and you create the UML diagram. So anyhow, thank you very much, and have a nice day.